you successful, to motivate you for life. How do we know that? Is that there's some 30 plus people, 30 plus personalities, 30 plus different perceptions of the world, and each of us knows something that the other person does not. If I can't get what you know about the world into my head, and I can't learn how to get what's in my head to feed you, to make you better, what are we here for? We're here for a career? Excuse me, doctor, hear me again. You help these people to see so you can throw them out the door, or because you want them to have a better life? Oh. And I think I understand that because he's saying both. I don't want to see you back here again. I could be putting words in your mouth, but the idea is that you heal people. Everyone here has the ability to heal the person across from you. So if you find yourself getting into a debate, stop it. Say, maybe we're not, I want to set you into goodwill. I have something to tell you. Always set the person into goodwill. That means I'm not here to attack you. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to listen first. And then secondly, get clarification on what you need to tell me. Because I have something important to say to you when you're ready for it. So the most important thing about communication is clarity. The way that you get clarity is you're in a back and forth. And in the back and forth, if there's any moment that you don't understand exactly clearly what the other person is saying, stop them. Say, excuse me, I'm sorry. Would you please tell me what you were trying to communicate to me? And they'll tell you. And then what you do, number two, you reiterate in your own words to tell them, I understand. Because if you don't have that first step, there's absolutely no reason to go on. Because what happens? You get in debate, you get in a fight. And we have a government for professionals. Professionals at fighting, mudslinging. It's ridiculous. I remember this, what was it, 4 years ago, in one of the presidential campaigns, that someone came in, I don't remember, and I think it was a local campaign, someone in Colorado. Someone said, I'm not going to do a smear campaign. Within 2 months after getting beat up, I started seeing bad things about the other guy. He got beat up. He lost. He already lost my vote. I mean, the first guy lost my vote just because, I don't tend to vote for either side. So you gotta stay out of it. You got to set people into goodwill. You got to communicate. You got to speak to them. Let people know that you do love them. And we know what the definition of love is, right? We said something that that people identify as a good trait in other people, and you want to reflect that to bring people closer. I'll laugh and go back to my notes. In communication, you also want to be able to, on the second part, when you start giving people what you want to speak about, you have to have clarity in the definitions that you use. Does anyone have a passion about something? So give me one topic. Anybody? Chris, what's something you're passionate about? Music.
Music.
Music?
Sure.
Okay, what kind of music?
Nowadays, positive music that helps you, energize you for life.
So, positive music that helps you energize for life, yeah?
Thinking and being the way I want to.
What does positive mean?
Positive means that it's talking about things that help me be more alive.
I'll accept that. Primarily because you gave me a definition for it. The point of that is anything you have a conviction, everything that you strongly believe in, that you have to have a definition for. You believe in goodness, you believe in goodwill, you believe in country and democracy. And when we use these words, we just throw them around like they're empty change. But in reality, if we have a conviction about something, we believe in something, you should know what it means. What is good? What is life? What is pleasure? If you like these concepts, and what is love? If you like these concepts, and we just talked about discussing them with other people, it would be pretty appropriate to have an understanding of what you have to know what you're talking about so you can give it over to the next person. We'll get back to communication in a little bit, but I just give you a lot of information, a lot of homework assignments, like being aware at every moment, getting excited about life, being hungry for knowledge, but there's a problem with that. How many people are already inspired to start tomorrow morning and say, well, I'm going to turn my head on and motivated. I gotta go to work. I got a family to take care of. I got dinner to cook, children to bathe, and put clothes on. There's an energy that we have that we don't use appropriately always. It's called joy. Joy is the energy for life. You know that when you have joy, that you are a better husband. You're a better boss. You're a better employee. You're better when you go up to bat. Anybody play baseball ever? Raise your hand if you play baseball. Will, no baseball? Just basketball, huh? So joy is one of those things that you can grab onto at any moment and pick yourself up to give yourself energy. Let me give you an example. For those of you who played baseball, hand up. You ever hit a home run?
Yes, sir.
How'd you feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So give me a little description for me. What happened?
It was the state playoff game,
Ooh.
and in the semifinals, and we were. It was the clinching home run to get us into the finals. So it was a big day.
And it puts you in.
Yeah.
So I've never been to a state playoff game. Not for baseball anyway, and not for basketball actually, but I'm a basketball player. I pretend to be a basketball player until a 16-year-old kid showed me a couple moves. I don't know how to play. But I remember when about 10 years ago, I was playing in an intramural like pickup game, and I'm telling you, you see how big a court is? And I'm a small guy, so that court's like twice the size. So I was dribbling up, and I threw the ball more than half court, boom, splash, 3-point. Everybody cheers when they see something like that. You barely get that on ESPN. So they did call that night. To see if I was available for another couple of shows. But go on, even at halftime, that was at halftime. Coming out of halftime, this going was back and forth. And I'm playing really, really sharp, really hard, getting in front of my. Now I wasn't the number one guy. Right at the end of the game, we're down by 3. I promise you, I'm not making this up. And again, half court shot, boom, splash. What happens? Everybody in the court, they jump up, they're cheering, pat me on the back. We got to play overtime. So we got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes to start running up and down the court. I'm not even exhausted. I got so much energy because I must have 116 points by now. It was like, 112, 50 rebounds and 32 assists in a men's pickup intramural basketball game. And the last few seconds are running down. We're down by 2, and again, jump, shot, everybody in the gym. From the other court obviously was over. Their game finished. They came over to watch me, well, me, not my team, and everybody's cheering in the gym. Everybody's got that feeling, when you ever see something so exciting, it's electrifying. That joy, you feel that tingling. I'm telling you my story of joy, and you even feel that tingling a little bit. Do you remember an instance of when you had joy? A birth, a marriage, for most people. When you graduated. So we know that joy gives you energy. And there's a thing that I'm building a theory on this joy as well, that we have a disease in our society, unfortunately. It's called depression. A lot of us experience it, and a lot of us experience it a lot worse than others. I myself, thank God, I'm a recovering depressionist. And I'll tell you, some of these tools that we use, including joy and happiness, which happiness we're really going to get into, this is one of the coolest tricks that I've ever seen. Well, first of all, we have a fantastic set of technology and doctors that help us with depression. What's usually, go to an office, after feeling bad for a while, the doctor usually helps you by, counseling for sure, and some medication to do what? What would we say depression happens? Bipolar, it's a chemical imbalance. And we get medication, hopefully, that is supposed to kind of neutralize and balance us so it can function normally. So I just gave you a story about joy. And I'll tell you, my arms were tingling because I remember the moment when I was hitting those shots. And the hair on my neck still stands up. And when I told you the same story, I want you to take a few moments and think of something that really gave you joy. Something that was so inspiring that just even for the moment, you feel a little tingle, a little twinge. What that is called is a chemical change in your brain. Your body has now created more endorphins, more serotonin. So we know that as difficult as it is to come through these things, we have a gift hopefully with a little bit of help, and hopefully with help from yourself, that sometimes you can change your balances, your chemical imbalances yourself by keeping your mind from a low point to a high point. Get a good story in your head, but it doesn't end there. You have to use that energy, you have to use that fuel, because this world is yin-yang. You know, it's a constant flow of energy. So when you have that strong energy going, you have to follow it and pass it to the next person. Yeah, again, introduce yourselves to your friends around you. And when you have that joy, and like I said, you're a better father, you're a better employee, you're a better salesman. Imagine someone comes into your store, if you have a store. Imagine you had a store. How would we start with that? And someone says, "Oh, this dishwasher's broken," and you're in a bad mood. You're like, "Oh, fix it." What's he gonna do? He's not only gonna leave, he might sue you. So what if you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. You know, I feel terrible, but I'm gonna make it up to you. I'm having a great day. Maybe you should have a great day too." At the end of it, not only is he fixed the dishwasher, he's buying 2 more for his friends. We can pass that energy, and certainly if you don't use it, it dissipates. So how do you keep yourself in the mindset of joy, which are bringing to happiness? Happiness is not the end goal. It is absolutely not the end goal. It is a means to keep your energy going. I mentioned before that I hurt my back pretty significantly a couple of years ago. And what I remember most significantly out of that whole time that I was hurt is that anytime anybody asked me how I was doing, I said, "Fantastic." And it hurt. Oh, I tell you, girl, it hurt. I couldn't move. I could barely talk. I was sweating. I remember my wife, she goes swimming every Monday night. And I had, at the time, my 1.5-year-old was wee, not that big. So even that big, me holding her, it was like holding 16 pounds on my disc itself. And she was only 3.5 pounds at the time, or something like that. I couldn't. She was crying. If I put her down, she would scream. I couldn't take it. I was at wit's end. I was holding my back, and then I put her down. I'd deal with the screaming for a little bit, and I'd lay down and get back up. And the whole time I was like, I feel so great. Why? Because I practiced. Say, I got my legs to hold up the rest of my back. I got my arms to hold my baby. My baby. I have all these beautiful things to keep me going. And what if I walked outside? What if me, the life educator, the mentor of my friends, the one that, and I do pride myself in being the motivator of happiness amongst my close group. What if they saw me and I was frowning? Someone who's supposed to be inspirational, someone who's supposed to be exciting, and I'm frowning. What is it going to do to them? So I was like, no. My goal here is to make sure that my energy is flowing. So every time that I left the house, I reminded myself of a list that I want you guys to compile, if you want to. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. And I was able to go back in that list and remember every single little beautiful thing that I appreciated about life. So all those little joy moments was constant. Anytime I came down, I was on such a high that even when it came down hard, I was able to pick myself up and give my energy outward so it came back. What is one of the things, besides education, that you can do an exchange with that you never lose? Like, monetary exchange. You go to purchase a watch. What happens is you have money, something that you've earned, you spent a lot of time in, you give money, you lose money, and then you gain a watch. It's an exchange. Joy? I have joy. I think I can give you a little bit of joy. Did I give you any joy at all this evening? No, you can lie. You can lie just because you give me more. Okay, so far I'm doing all right. Good job. Guess what? I didn't lose any of it. I still have it. You got a little. That's something that you can always pass along just little ounces at a time. Forever. If it's ever going, ongoing. That's the way this universe functions. The only way that we exist is by passing on the energy of how we move. Yin, yang, if you ever hear me use that expression, basically what that means is that there's an up and down of life. And if we learn how to get the balance between that life, we can use that energy for every single purpose of it. We have challenges. We have a lot of problems in life that we're going to have to deal with. Unfortunately, this is how the world works. They're going to throw us curveballs, and we're not going to be ready. They're going to take out your back. They're going to take out your knee. You're going to lose a car, or worse. if you remember, this is my challenge. And I'm going to use my energy to use this as a challenge to grow. If you don't know how to use this particular challenge right now, how to articulate this particular challenge, well, you're wrong, because it's given to you. You have the ability to work it through. One of the things that people get depressed about, get upset about, is they put themselves in the mindset, they say, you know, I would be happy if I just had a little bit more money, or as soon as I graduate, or as soon as the day is over, or as soon as the week's over. It's a very dangerous cycle to get into. I'm going to be happy, because remember, joy and happiness is not an event, it's a mindset. It's how you put your mind and focus on everything that you have. It says, joy dwells into a person's heart when they focus on what they have. Misery dwells in a person's heart when they focus on what they do not have. So change your focus. Focus on beautiful things in life. So I'll give you what's been called the happiness game. So I don't forget it, and we'll get right back to the other titles of the other main topics of this discussion. The happiness game goes like this. It's very simple. Everyone have an hour in their week? Raise your hand if you have an hour. Just this 1 hour. I know, a long time. What time do you wake up, sir?
4:45.
4:45. What time do you go to bed?
11.
11. Okay, so you can go to bed at 12 one night. It was the life. You know, you need more than 5 hours of sleep. You know? You remember when he was born, you didn't get any of that. So you can do it 1 hour. Here's the challenge. We're going to write down every single thing you can think of that you appreciate. Simple. Glasses, I'm sure you can appreciate. Right? Shoes, feet, eyes, lungs, food. It can be specific. Cheesecake, steak, you know, whatever. Everything that you appreciate, write down. For an hour. That's a long time, I admit it. Especially with most of us with tremendously busy schedules. First 15 minutes are going to fly by, I promise. First, they will fly by. Next 15 minutes, you got to kind of categorize and figure out how you can put more things in and put a little more effort in. Next 15 minutes, okay, you might not be writing the whole 15 minutes. Last 15 minutes is the most essential, because that's really getting you to think. By the time you're done with this, I'd imagine you have a couple hundred things on this list, at least. Now, the first part of the assignment, after writing this all down, because that's just, it's not even the first part. There's like multiple parts, so I'm going to make it seem less by saying that's not the first part, and make it seem easier. Every day for 30 days, add one thing to the list. Now, I admit that's a very hard assignment to do. It's extremely hard. But what it'll do for you, I promise you, will fundamentally change the way that you perceive yourself and the things that you have. If you can get past that 30 days, go back to the list and put a number 1 next to it or number 2 next to it. Number 1 is things I can live without. My glasses, my shoes, my car, my legs, my eyes, and things I cannot live without. My heart, my brain.